Slap bang right in the middle of the Wild West. My only vision of it is through cowboys and Indian films. So I'm out here to see how the West was really won or lost. Yeehaw! The Rockies cover over 1,000 miles from Canada to New Mexico. On this trip, I'll be visiting 4 of the Rocky Mountain states: South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho. Starting my trip in the Badlands of South Dakota, I drive to Little Bighorn, then down to Jackson Hole in Wyoming. Next, I travel north through Yellowstone National Park back into Montana, ending my journey on the Nez Perce Indian Reservation in Idaho. Mount Rushmore in southwestern South Dakota is known as America's Shrine of Democracy. The 60-foot faces of Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln and Roosevelt have been carved out of the granite rock face. Nearby, the Lakota Indians are carving a memorial 10 times bigger in honor of their most famous leader, Crazy Horse. At the Pine Ridge Reservation, Alex Whiteplume rents out teepees and teaches you the ways of the Lakota.
On this particular lodge here, there's 12 poles that holds the whole thing together. The 10th pole is the one that comes up, and that has to point to the morning star. And this is the direction that our door's facing, is to the east, because that represents new life. A new life is starting, another life is starting that day. The most wrote about people are from this area here, the Lakota. Right. We have people like Crazy Horse, Red Cloud, American Horse, Young Man Afraid of His Horses, Red Horn Buffalo. These are some of our people.
Crazy Horse is the Lakota's hero. The white man was his sworn enemy, and he never gave up the fight for his people's land.
He died as a Lakota, speaking his language. He never made contact with the white man, or he'd never lower his status to their level to even speak with them. And he died as a true Lakota. So to us, he's a real mystical person. We really hold him in high esteem.
Was all the treaties that were made with Americans, are they all broken?
Every treaty and every agreement ever made between the United States government and the Lakota people were violated and broken before the ink was even dried. To us, the horse is a four-legged, and we call him our brother. And we made a pact with them about 2,000 years ago that we would take care of each other. And that idea still exists today. So the four-legged and the two-legged, we all get along together.
Come on, boy! Yeah! So good!
There's a story about how the white man got his name.
Oh yeah.
And the Lakotas, they lived in these dwellings like this, you know, and in the winter snow covered everything, so you can't really see them. They kind of camouflaged themselves. And here one time they heard the snow crunching, so everybody peeked out, and here they seen this guy. He was walking by, big hairy face, and his skin was white, and he was all dressed up, all bundled up. And he was walking through, and he came in between all the lodges, and the Lakota used to keep fat, bear fat, high up in a tree so dogs can't get at him, wolves can't get at him. And here he's seen it, so he climbed up there and he took some off and he ate some and he carried a bunch and he walked right on through camp. So that's our word for the white man, is Washichun, or the man who came into camp and stole the fat. Right. So that's our word for the white person is Washichu.
In the morning, I headed for the Black Hills nearby. 60 million years of erosion have created a honeycomb of tunnels and caves. This hole here is an entrance to about 77 miles of caves and tunnels. It's known as the Wind Caves because winds can get up to about 70 miles an hour here. And it was found by Tom Bingham in about, I'd say, 1881. And he was walking past with his mate and their hat blew off. So they found this hole and decided to go in there. So I'm gonna check it out. Try to anyway. There's nowhere to go. Oh yeah, there's a little entrance here. God, they're mad. Well, it's so small. There's an easy entrance somewhere else, and I'm going to try that out. Well, this is it. This is Stan the Man. We're going to go potholing. Ground floor, please, Stan.
Okay.
Go.
We're about 200 feet below the surface here.
Are we?
Yeah. And all the rock that you see around us here is made of limestone.
Yeah. The caves are the 6th longest in the world. For a $10 entrance fee, you can get a guided tour of the main caverns, but there's still miles of unexplored parts to be discovered by experienced cavers. Stan, why do you do potholing?
It's a lot of fun. You get to go see things that you wouldn't ever be able to see on the surface of the earth.
What, like other people's butts?
Yeah, other people's
With the
butts.
light as you... That's good, that bit there. Wow, that's cool, isn't it? What's all that stuff?
That's the boxwork formation that Minty is so famous for.
Was it box?
Boxwork.
Boxwork. Why is it called boxwork?
Well, the early tourists thought it looked like the old post office boxes they had in the 1800s.
Yeah. It's like honeycomb to me. If you want to get off the beaten track, you can rent a car for about $40 a day. Of course I had to choose this one, but just for the view. I was on my way to meet Marcus Rubidoux at Bear Butte, a holy mountain where the Sioux gather to pray. What's the ceremony that goes on at the top of the mountain?
Bear Butte, like a lot of different buttes, is primarily used to do humblechas, or vision quests.
Right.
A vision quest is something that an individual would do at the first of their life and subsequently through the rest of their lives as well to gain knowledge from the spirits. They would fast for 4 days, and the fasting itself would induce a vision. Through that vision you would find out whether you were to be a medicine man, a war leader, a shaman.
So what would be the signs to be a medicine man that you get a vision?
A medicine man oftentimes would be often like a thunder dreamer. Anytime in your vision if you saw thunder and lightning, this was something that indicated that you were going to be some powerful individual in one form or another. Crazy Horse was a thunder dreamer, for example.
Yeah.
These were individuals that led very, very important and significant lives. Part of their lives were to follow the life of a Heyoka, which was a contrary. You did everything backwards. You bathed in dirt, you dried in water, in the winter you slept with no robes, in the summer you slept with 3 or 4 robes on. And this was a show of your dedication to your faith.
So why do people leave cloths on the trees?
These are a way of showing homage to the spirits. In particular, Tateatopa, the 4 directions. These are spirits that you always want present. You could compare them to like the Holy Ghost. These are things, if you're asking for guidance or advice, you would offer these in trade for the advice that you will be given. This is as a gift.
How does that blend in with like a lot of tourists come here to climb the mountain as well?
Most of the people that come to Bear Butte, they know the significance of this mountain, and so they're very respectful of it. As they come up the mountain, they don't leave litter anywhere, or they're very quiet when they come here. It's a place that they respect, just as if we were going to the Vatican. In the early days, when the cavalry came to the area, they couldn't really understand. The Indians would come riding in vast numbers with just sticks, or even with their bare hands. And they would just ride by and hit these cavalrymen, or else touch them and ride away. And they couldn't understand what they were doing at the time. It was believed that even though someone might be your adversary, you didn't necessarily want to kill him, because if you killed him, you couldn't count coup on him to bring honor upon yourself. Counting coup was a way of showing bravery. For example, if I was going up against you in battle, if I walked up to you and touched your nose and walked away, all of your comrades are going to look at you with shame, because you allowed the enemy to walk right up to you and touch you and walk away still alive. Meanwhile, the cavalrymen had rifles, and it was a very one-sided battle, you might say.
I headed for Deadwood, near the border of Wyoming, where Calamity Jane and Wild Bill Hickok came to seek their fortunes during the gold mining boom. This is Deadwood. Apparently it's one of the oldest gold mining towns around, and people reckon you can still find cowboys here. Cowboys. Make me laugh. During the gold rush, the town became massively wealthy. Nowadays, most of the large houses have been turned into casinos and hotels. Motels may be cheaper, but at under $50 a night, it's worth checking into a hotel in town. Just the once. Gambling was banned in 1889, so the townfolk had to make do with betting parlours and brothels. 5 years ago, the town voted to bring back gambling, around about the same time that they closed the last whorehouse. I thought I'd try my luck at the Old Style Saloon. If it was good enough for the likes of Wild Bill Hickok, it was good enough for me. Mind if I...
Cards, straight eye stud poker. Sit down here, it's a friendly game.
Don't look too friendly.
Alright, you're gonna get 2 cards down, 4 up, 1 down.
Right.
Limit 5 to 25. There. 3 raises are allowed, check-in raise is allowed. There's no ante, but the low card on 3rd Street has to bet at least $5.
There's no ante? What's that?
No ante. Ante's like when everybody has to put in money before you get any cards.
Right, okay.
Good luck on the river.
Can I... Yeah?
There you go.
Right, okay. I was going for the maximum stake, $5.
The ace-9 is high. Rick, check or bet.
Go 10.
So are there any, like legends here then?
Oh, there's a few.
Any bad boys around?
Legend of Wild Bill Hickok.
Who was he then? What
He
did
was a gambler, gunfighter,
Was he?
scout for the army.
What did Wild Bill get up to then?
Well, he likes to play cards.
5 more.
Did he?
Yeah, he came in here one afternoon.
In here?
Yeah, came in here. So he sat down, and a guy by the name of Jack McCall came in the door. And Wild Bill got up right away, drew his gun. And when he saw who it was, he said hello to Jack and put his gun back in his holster, sat down.
Right.
Well, then Jack walked around the table,
Yeah.
took a look at each hand as he went, and he came to a stop behind Wild Bill, drew his gun, and shot him in the back of the head.
Ooh, why are you sitting down playing cards?
While he was sitting playing cards.
God. Was it at this table?
It might have been.
A pair of 7s don't really do it.
That's a pretty good hand there, too.
Oh, you guys are too good for me. This game's getting a bit too hairy for me. Right, cheers for the game, gents. When you're in cowboy country, you got to look the part. So I've come here to King's Ropes, best store in the West, to get kitted out. Dressed to kill, I was going to try my hand on a dude ranch. A dude's a wannabe cowboy, and near Sheridan in Wyoming, for around $90 a day, you can round up cattle on horseback, learn to lasso, and work up an appetite for coffee, grits, beans, and the local delicacy.
They look like they're just about right, Ian.
What the hell are they?
Rocky Mountain oysters.
Is this what cowboys eat then?
Yes, this is what John Wayne was weaned on.
Was what on?
Weaned.
Weaned.
They're gonads.
I've heard that before. There's bulls, isn't it?
Sure you have, yeah. It was from a bull calf at Brandon time.
Yeah.
We cut their balls off, and then we're eating them right now.
Well, I haven't seen you eat one.
Oh, I'm full.
No. So are there any real cowboys left in the Rockies then, Dave?
Oh yeah. You know, as long as there's beef, there'll be cowboys.
What was it like in the early days then? Like cowboys?
Yeah.
Indian trouble?
Back in the 1860s, they had discovered gold on Indian lands. And the government was broke after the Civil War, needed the gold. And the Indians were in their way. So they found a way to get that gold by slaughtering the buffalo, starve the Indians out, and then whoever was left, they'd kill or bring in.
So it was all Indian land before then?
It was all Indian land, that's right.
Yeah.
Sure was.
So in a way, do you think it was like stolen from the Indians, or?
Sure, yeah.
Did you see there was any way that they could have lived with the Indians, or would that have happened anyway?
No, it was just going to happen, just a part of evolution.
So, and now, are the Indians trying to get the land back?
Yeah, there's movements to do that. They've learned the white man's way.
Yeah.
And they've gone to white man's schools and become lawyers and been able to stand up and go to Washington, D.C. and make some demands. I don't know how that's going to come out. Yeah. The worrisome thing for the cowboy mainly is the sub-developers and the government with the big move in the east.
What's the big move in the east?
Is to take the land away from the rancher.
And give it back to the Indian?
No, to give it to backpackers and hikers and stuff.
So you got a song for me there?
I got a song.
Let's hear it. Go for it.
So I wrote this about this, what happened this one day. It was 7 below, through my window glass today, when I went to go load, pickup full of hay.
With Dave's sweet song in my ears, I plan to head north to Montana to visit the Little Bighorn battlefield. But first I wanted to try my hand at a different kind of beast. A Harley. The Rockies is big biking country. Every summer, nearly 300,000 bikers get together for the Sturgis Bike Rally. It's the biggest rally in the world. It's quieter here in the fall, but I still got the feeling that I wasn't the only one who liked the open road.
And I'll dance until the end.
These guys may look mean, but in fact they're part of American Legend Tours, based in Gillette, who operate guided tours into the Rockies. The tours cost about $200 a day, including meals and lodgings, but you do have to do a bike test before they'll trust you with one of their precious beasts. Oh dear, I better sneak off. Can you keep...
What are you buying in there?
Dunno, toilet paper I think after that. Can you keep your eye on my bike please? Make sure no one tampers with it, yeah? Make sure no one touches it.
Go on in there. It's all different years. The 52 motor, 50 gas tanks, 84 frame, 79 front end, 76 wheels. It's my favorite. It reminds me of the bike that I rode to high school when I was a boy. And motorcycling's the only thing I brought forward from a misspent youth.
What?
Isn't he cute?
There's something missing, isn't there?
He's so cute.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where is it? Come on.
What?
I'm gonna be angry when I return, so you lot better move out. Yeah.
I'm afraid.
Traveller's tip. Don't leave your bike outside with the keys in it. Thanks. What's the good about riding then? Why'd you all do it? What's it all about?
Just hang out with us. We'll show you.
Yeah?
Come with us. Hang out.
Devil's Tower rises 1,200 feet above the plains. It's a sacred site for Native Americans who named it Bear Lodge after the rock formations which they believed were scratches left by a giant grizzly. When you've proved yourself, American Legend Tours will let you go off on your own. I headed for the Crow Reservation in Montana to see the Little Bighorn battlefield, the site of Custer's last stand. In 1876, General Custer and his cavalry were massacred by 2,000 Sioux warriors defending their territory from the gold-hungry whites. Gerald Baker is a park ranger whose family has lived on this land for generations.
About ready to close.
Are you? Yeah, I'm off soon, though. I just had to check it out. So is this where all the battle was?
Yeah, the battle actually took place, the northern boundary is actually this ridge over here.
Yeah.
And the southern boundary is beyond those hills in the back of us. The majority of the fighting with George Custer and his 7th Cavalry, where they got killed, is right through this location. You can see the stone markers where the people fell and soldiers fell. And they always say the end of the battle took place on top of the hill, which is a real good place for the hero to be at. In fact, some of the Indian tribes that fought here, some of their oral traditions say that George Custer was one of the first ones to go, one of the first ones to get killed. And it wasn't the last one with the blazing guns and this type of thing.
How many did they lose then, the 7th Cavalry?
The 227 were killed with this. There's also some lost over in the Reno-Benteen battle.
Right.
And so there was, up to almost 300 people died. Indians described it as a battle lasting as long as it takes a hungry man to eat his dinner. That's how long it took.
3 minutes?
And in my case, probably a minute and a half. So it was pretty fast.
Did this signify like how the West was won, do you think?
What this battle signifies to a lot of tribes and to a lot of individuals is a change of life. It was an end of an era that meant that we couldn't roam anymore and follow buffalo herds and exist that way. So it was an end of a lifestyle. A lot of people that come here have no idea that Indians are still living in reservations. That for example, I grew up on a reservation with no water, no bathroom, and we had outside johns and this kind of stuff. And people don't realize that that's still happening today.
Well, Jack, I better go.
Right.
Better get off. Thanks a lot for that then. The first 2 weeks in October are the best time to catch the fall. The colours are amazing, and because it's low season, you have the roads to yourself.
In Doppelnick is not really till up. Indian is lonely traveler, and I'll dance until the end.
From Little Bighorn, I headed west across Wyoming to Jackson Hole and the Grand Teton National Park. The Grand Teton Mountains were named by two lonesome Canadian trappers in memory of their girlfriends back home. Well, I'm here in Jackson Hole and afraid it's no more motorbiking for me because I've got to leave the Harley here. And I'm going to stay here maybe a few nights. The trouble is, there's no public transport at the place. In fact, there's not much public transport in the whole of this state. So I don't know how I'm going to leave. Jackson Hole is an upmarket tourist resort. It's famous for the good air and the extreme skiing.
It's the best in the U.S. is right here.
Next to this,
that's why we're all here.
You go over to the Alps to get.
That's why we want to be here.
If you want inbound skiing, that's better than this. You would have to leave the states.
If you like put on, if you had to like classify this mountain in terms of skiing, like with music, it wouldn't be classical. It'd be punk rock.
Well, this is one activity they didn't tell me about down the pub. I'm going gliding over the mountains. This is Steve, my pilot. This is Mike, the tow pilot. Is this safe, Steve?
Most of the time.
Most of the time. Look at the size of them wheels, though. Like a skateboarder.
Okay, canopy coming down. And look.
A 15-minute glide costs $50, but it's the best way to see the peaks. What do you like about it, Steve?
In gliding, you have to use what Mother Nature gives you, and then that we use the thermals coming off the ground, and we try to get into that and use that lift to stay aloft. Would you like to fly the glider?
Yeah, I'll have a go.
Okay, grab the stick, put your feet on the rudder pedals up underneath the dash there.
Have I got it now?
You got it.
Right. Ooh. Are you pushing it round? Am I doing that?
No, you're doing that.
Are we meant to be
I'm helping you a little.
Oh. Wow. God, I thought we'd hit a caribou or something. Are we sort of going into land now then?
Yeah, we're heading right back to the airport.
Wow.
Push the stick forward just a little bit. There you go, right there. That's fine.
If you're looking for cheap transport, try listening to the local radio.
Again? When will we ever learn? It's time for another edition of Trash and Treasure, brought to you by Napa. Keep in mind, we don't accept any handguns, real estate items, lost and found items. Limit yourself to 5 items or less, or I'll do it for you. And give us a call at 733-KMTN for Trash and Treasure. Good morning.
Good morning. I have a Gibson ES335 electric guitar for sale, and I can be reached at 733-5976 for more information. Thanks.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi.
Hi.
I'm going up to Whitefish, and I was wondering if anyone wanted to come along and share some gas money.
I'd love to.
Okay, well, I'm leaving in about 5 minutes. My phone number is 734-2747.
2747. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Bye.
Bye.
We arranged to meet in the main square. While I was waiting, I bumped into a couple of travellers. How far have you come?
About 1,500 miles.
Yeah?
Yeah.
In how many days is that?
A week and 1 day.
Where'd you stay in the evening then? Where'd you sleep?
We got a ride all the way to Iowa and slept just in the ditch where some big weeds were, knocked them down and slept there one night. But mostly people have like picked us up and said, you guys don't have a place to stay, it's cold, you can stay in our house. So.
Yeah. How much money did you start on?
We started with $30. We spent the last of that Friday, so.
How are you going to survive from now?
Just probably start juggling and put down a hat and put some change in there, like people have walked by and put change in there already.
So
just
make it look like people have been giving us money already, so other people will be like, well, they're doing pretty good here. There's a couple other bucks.
Hey, are you Ian?
Yeah, in the cold.
Yeah.
Come on. Check this in the back. What do you do, Jackson, then? What's your main thing?
Well, I'm just waiting for the snow to fly.
Fly?
To fly, to fall.
Yeah.
And then I'll be out on the mountain. And
doing what?
Snowboarding, skiing, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Ringing up people's lunches to get my ski pass. So.
What, working in the caf to get the money?
Working in the cafeteria.
That's cool.
To get a cheap pass.
We drove north to Yellowstone, the world's first national park. Where are we going? Where are we going? What are we going to see? What are we going to see? What's that? What's that?
It's wildlife. Wildlife.
This is the wildest.
The wildest?
Yeah. That buffalo.
Yeah, he looks pretty mean.
They might look tame, but they are extremely dangerous. Yellowstone is crammed with more than half the world's geysers. Mammoth Hot Springs is a series of terraces made by limestone deposits, which are created when the water cools on contact with the atmosphere. It's just like being on Mars. Strange things, but he's trying to track some wolves that he's tagged. They're quite rare for this area, so we're gonna keep those sharp eyes out.
Wow. There's 3 adults in this whole group of what amounts to 15 wolves, and the 3 adults took off. Now here comes 9 on the back. She doesn't want nothing to do with it. Look at her tail. She's already back down below the trees. She wants nothing to do with that group.
Well, what's happening then?
When wolves get together and strange packs meet, they fight.
Right. When did you introduce the wolves to Yellowstone?
They came from Canada in January of 1995. We released them in March of 95.
Yeah.
So they've been here for less than a year.
Right.
They've established movement patterns that keep them in Yellowstone Park or the surrounding national forests. And wolf restoration is really very simple. You have to get the wolves to stay put. They can't wander hither and yon and end up in somebody's backyard.
Right.
Well, the Yellowstone ecosystem is 14 million acres in size, so they have lots of places they can go before they get into trouble.
Born to be wild.
Time to hit the road again. We are on our way to Whitefish in Montana. This is big sky country, but would it be big ski country? I wonder. Is there any chance of any snow in Whitefish, do you think?
Yeah. That's why I'm going up there. I just talked to my friends and they said they just got dumped on. And,
dumped on?
Dumped on by the snow.
Oh, right.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's why I'm heading up there.
Yeah.
Why are you going then?
Because I might do some hot dogging on my snowboard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we should go together.
Yeah, definitely. No, actually, I've never been snowboarding.
You haven't?
No. Are you a good tutor? Can you teach me snowboarding?
If you're a good little passenger.
Yeah, sure. Tell me about this 2-hour hike up the biggest mountain in the area.
You ready? Okay, you're gonna wanna lean forward, keep the knees bent. If you start doing like the moon dance like this, you're gonna go right over backwards onto your head. That's not fun. Keep your arms steady in front of you, kind of like a begging dog.
Yeah.
And bend the knees, stay over the board, and kind of get the feel. Yeah, there you go. You want to try it out?
Whoa, all right. Okay, Nicole, thanks a lot, darling.
Bye, take care.
Yeah. You drive carefully out
I
there.
will.
It's a jungle.
Bye, take
See you later.
care.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
What am I gonna do now? Move on, I guess. I hitched a ride down to the Nez Perce Reservation in Idaho. The Nez Perce are famed for their powwows, songs and dances honouring their culture and worshipping the land. For almost 70 years, these ceremonies were discouraged by the authorities. It was only about 20 years ago that the federal government formally recognised that tribes had a right to practice their own native religion. This is a sweat lodge. It's used to cleanse the spirit, and you have to enter naked and backwards, as though returning to the womb. I went to have a sweat with Jamie.
This one's for my guest Ian. This one's for me.
So there must have been quite a few of your tribe here then, living on the land before the white man arrived.
We occupied 13 million acres of land. And
how much you got left now?
Well, actually, because of our treaties, we retained the right to hunt and fish upon those lands and to gather our traditional foods and medicines. So we still have access to those lands, but through a series of treaties, our reservation was reduced to about 750,000 acres. And that is the reservation we live on today.
Is there any fear, do you have any fear about the Indian culture and that dwindling?
That's always a fear. I've heard the elders say that when we lose our language and we lose our land, we lose ourselves as Nez Perce people. And so we have programs within a reservation, some to teach the Nez Perce language, some of the crafts. We have elders showing the young people, the different foods and medicines and how we used to care for fish and for wildlife, to carry some of those traditions on. We still have the songs that we sing. We still have the dances that we do. And all those combined together will give us hope that we can take our traditions to tomorrow.
And are the youth, like the Indian youth, picking that up okay?
All in all, I see the young people seeking that information to develop these skills and these abilities, because you listen to the world today and there's calls for cultural diversity, for society to to thrive, it needs a diversity of values, a diversity of ideals, and some of that means that Indian people need to step forward and offer up the kind of information and wisdom that we always had. And young people, knowing that, will seek the old ways, seek the traditional wisdom, and with that it will help them survive throughout life, but also I think it's going to help them give something to the non-Indian world out there.
What I just said is that my Indian name is Lonely Traveler, and I'll dance until the end.
Idaho was the last state to be explored by the non-Native Americans, and rumour has it that there are still undiscovered parts. I was off to Salmon River, the longest undammed river in the States, and one of the best whitewater rafting experiences. It cost about $90 a day for camping, food and canoeing with a guide. But be warned, by the fall, water levels are low, so rocks just below the surface make it more dangerous than it looks. What we can do, have a look at it?
Yes, we're going to scout the rapid here. It's very fun.
Yeah. Will it be a problem?
No problem.
Yeah? Yeah, I like it. Oh, that looks a bit mean to me, Mountain.
It's a good one.
How am I going to get through that?
Head straight down into the V-slick on the right side.
Into that frothy bit?
Yeah.
No chance.
You could do it.
No, I was talking about you. Great way to see the country. 3,500 miles, about 5 different modes of transport, sexy Cadillac, throbbing Harley. What a way to finish in rubber.
Thank you.